maybe the more casual player doesn't know this, but in Elden Ring, if you press heavy attack with a straight sword and then you press heavy attack again, that's the move you'll get on most straight swords. There used to be straight swords that did this. Now they're all gone. Back in Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, we had straight swords that did that. Now the only one that we have that does it is the short sword. I would like it if we got another straight sword, a long sword even, that did that in Elden Ring. And so I made this build as a way to ask that of Mr. Miyazaki. I beat the game using only the short sword. I do PvP mostly using the short sword. And, you know, honestly, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. I like this thing. I just wish it was longer. Or give it the same modifier that daggers get on their critical attacks. Because that's the way it worked in Dark Souls 3 for sure, and Dark Souls 2, I believe. In Dark Souls 3, the short sword had a critical modifier of, what was it, 110? Which isn't a lot, but, you know, it's pretty good. I think daggers had like 130 or 140 or something like that. This thing doesn't have a critical modifier, it's just 100. You know, that's just regular. So, you know, at least give it the critical modifier. Now, interestingly enough, that heavy attack chain that it has, the R2, I may call it, that is the same R2 chain that daggers have. At least the Misericord has it. I'm pretty sure other ones have it. So it's just dagger heavy attacks on a straight sword. Not just me, others as well. We miss that Lothric Knight sword. We miss that Baldur's Side sword. We miss that Fume Knight sword. And Dark Souls 2 had another one as well that had the double poke. I think it was like the Soldier's Sword or something like that. Foot Soldier's Sword. That's what it was. We miss it. And so, you know, give it back. In Shadow of the Erdtree, let me have double pokes. But, as I was saying, the short sword, I don't hate it. You know? It can hit. It can hit, which is pretty interesting. The heavy attacks chain together pretty well on roll catches, and the fact that you can charge them up fully or a little bit, you know, that definitely helps with that. Now, keep in mind that there's no critical modifier on this short sword, okay? But, you know, you can see how much damage you do with riposts and backstabs. It's a lot. It's a lot. You know? To be physically infused even. Like, that's not an elemental infusion. That's pretty hefty armor. Taking 1,241 damage on a riposte. And 851 on a backstab. Now watch this. We got the Piercing Fang. I don't know how on earth I didn't get that parry. Actually, I do know. Miyazaki was watching this, and he said, don't give him that. It'll go to his head. It'll go to his head. You know what'll go to this guy's head? My sword. My sword will go to his head. I have to, you know, I gotta show respect for that. R2, R2. Just like that. Just like that. And then we hit him with that slow walk. In the sunset. Look at that. Also, the fashion on this build, next level. Unparalleled, even. We look straight up out of Dark Souls 1, 2, maybe 3 a little bit. Wearing that knight helmet, covered in tattered old rags and spiky boots. I love this build's fashion. This is kind of like an Elden Ring Baldur Knight, except I don't have my sweet Baldur Knight side sword. My sweet swag sword. I love the guy that teabags and is this laggy and does the poison rot rapier. Just get him out of here. 1,438 damage on that riposte right there. And again, there's no critical modifier. Give me one. I want my backstabs to do 1,100 damage. You know? I deserve it, honestly. If I'm going to play with the short sword, I deserve that. I deserve to have it. Give it to me. And if you're not going to give me that, then at least, look at the R2. R2. I love it. If you're not going to give me that, at least give me, you know, a really long version of this sword. I'm a simple man. I'm easy to please, and I'm willing to meet you in the middle, Miyazaki. Give it to me. This build is level 150, which is why I keep invading this area right here. This will happen a lot to your meta level builds up to 150. Honestly, it kind of sucks, but I'm going to keep this character here at level 150, and I have some other characters at 138 and 125, and I'm going to keep them there as well. The recent Dragoon build that I made, you guys might have seen the video for that. I'm also going to keep it at that level range, and the reason being, I like level 200 and 168. I like those level ranges for invasions. And by the way, those aren't meta levels, right? Like, I understand why I understand why some people say 150 meta, 168 meta, 90 meta, 80 meta, but you're just adding meta. And that's not what that means, right? The meta level can change, sure, but it hasn't. And for duels, meta level is 125. It's just a pet peeve. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just saying. Sorry, bit of a personal pet peeve, I guess. Anyway, I've got some characters at this level range. I'm going to keep them here, despite the fact that it's all lake gankers and bonfire duelists or grace goblins and boss fog fights. Because once the DLC comes out, there's going to be a lot of new places to invade, and it will probably be good for this level range. So I'm going to stick where I'm at. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Later, y'all.